Good day, everyone, and welcome to today's class. And today we are going to be talking about some topic, which is one of them, which is just a one page. Is this emotional intelligence? We're also going to be talking about, change management. We're also going to be talking about change management, and that is one of the core part of today's section, which is change management. So change will occur within organization, even as individual as well. You can say that, oh, this is my 2023 New Year resolution. It means that there are some certain things that you are doing in 2022 that you like to do now, you want to get away with it. Oh, I have been doing this in 2022. And when we get to 31st of December now, you sit down and you assess yourself that, oh, some of these things I'm doing in 2022, you have to leave it at the crossover night. So that is what change. In organization as well, there will be change. Maybe we are using a manual system before. We are not thinking of going using a computerized system now. So there's always going to be change. So it is things that every individual, every organization, every employee has to be you have to have the mindset that one day there will be change. The process that you are doing, the way you are doing it today, tomorrow, it may not be like that again. So you have to be prepared for it. And you as a manager as well, you also need to be prepared for that as well, that there will be change. So the key things or our key emphasis when we get to change management is what make people to do what make people to resist change. Because change is always going to be successful if you have many people that is accepting it. We call it supporting forces. Change will only be successful if you have much people accepting it than people rejecting it. Oh, out of 100, we have 60 people accepting it. That is only when change can be successful. But when we have resisting forces, people that are saying, well, oh, no, the change will not be successful. So for change to be successful, more people have to accept it. Then we'll also be looking about, why would people say that no? Why would they resist change? And if employee resist change as a manager like you, what do you do? What are the approach that you can do so that your employee will do what? They will accept they will accept the change that you are trying to introduce. So before that, let's briefly talk about emotional intelligence. And it's just a word in one page, just like you are saying it here. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, to use, and manage your own emotion in a positive way. Use and manage your own emotion in a positive way to relieve stress, communicate effectively, sympathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. When we say oh, this person have high emotional intelligence, meaning that some of the stress that you are going through, you are not using it, you are not passing it to other people. That, oh, this workload is much, and one of your colleagues now is asking you a certain question. That, oh, please respond to my mail. So when you when you are addressing people in the way that you're supposed to address them, that you don't pass your own words, you don't pass your own stress to others, that means that you have emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotion, whatever the situation that you are facing. Oh, you may be having Mr. A may be having family issues, but once you step into the premises of of your organization, you have to drop down at the gate. Or what the baggage that you are bringing from home, when you get to work, as you are entering the premises, you have to do you have to drop that. You have to address people. You have to interact with people in a way that, oh, nobody will even know that, oh, there's something that is going on. because that is your own emotion. Oh, Mr. A is having what? Family challenges. It doesn't mean that what? Mr. B is having challenges. It doesn't mean that, oh, because you're having what? Family challenges now, you now need to be passing it to what? To others. Or maybe your wife serve you what? A breakfast now. Or you as the husband now, you serve. No, you have to do what? You have to try as much as possible that forget about it. This one is work. Don't treat what? Don't treat people the way you want in some of the situations that you're passing through. You may be facing with a lot of challenges, but that one doesn't mean that you need to pass it to other people. Everybody is facing it with his own, to be honest with ourselves. Organization is facing it. Individual is also facing it. So whatever the emotion that you're having, whatever the situation that you are facing, you don't need to pass it to others. So when you recognize that no matter the situation that you're facing, I'm not going to do what? I'm not going to pass it to other people. That means that you have emotional intelligence. We are all human beings. We are all facing with one challenges or the others. But the challenges that you are facing with now does not really mean that, oh, you have to be doing what? You have to be passing it to other people. When someone asks you a question now, you start what? You start shouting. You start misbehaving. No. As a word, in management, we don't want you to have such mindset. Just be calm. Irrespective of what you are going through. If someone asks you a question, oh, don't worry, I will respond to it. Just respond as if there's nothing that is going on. What are the features of element of emotional intelligence? Self-awareness, self-regulation. You need to regulate yourself. Oh, your wife is fighting with you, your husband is fighting with you, does not really mean that you need to pass it to others. You have to regulate yourself that, oh, your colleague that you are interacting with now, they are not the one that caused why your husband is fighting with you. They are not the one that is causing why your wife is fighting with you. Or the family problem that you're having. So you have to do what? You have to regulate yourself. And you also need to motivate yourself. That's one aspect of what emotional intelligence as well. That no matter the situation that you're going through now, you are going to overcome it. Motivate yourself. No matter the workload, don't worry, I'm going to complete the task. Some people has been doing it before. Oh, just like maybe some of us now, you are in what? You are in school now. Or maybe now our undergraduates. You are doing your work, you are doing your BSc or your HND, you're also writing what ICAN exam as well. And you start looking at it that, oh, this stress is too much. And maybe one of your colleagues is asking you a certain question. Oh, don't you know that I have ICAN exam? No. You do. It's not your colleague that is asking you to be writing an ICAN exam while you are still in school. So you need to regulate yourself. Even though they are asking, oh, please come and explain this particular thing for me. You still need to be calm. You still need to respond to them as if you are not even what? As if two of you are writing BSc exam together. As if you don't have what? You don't have ICAN exam. So, and no matter the challenges that you're also facing, you have to motivate yourself. Some people have been writing all the 4 papers now and they are passing. So you also need to, oh, this particular subject is giving me what? It's giving me an headache. No. Oh, cost accounting or whatever the subject is giving you a headache, you don't need to worry. Start using that aggression now to pass it to other people. So you need to motivate yourself. Empathy as well. Social skills. Relating with people. Relating with people as if nothing is going on. So these are future, these are elements that make out of what emotional intelligence. Self-awareness that, oh, this thing is always occurring, it's only now. It's not going to be what? It's not going to be tomorrow. It's just about what? It's not about time. I'm going to overcome it. You regulate yourself. Oh, I'm in office. Let me behave as nothing is what is happening. Oh, I'm with my friend. I'm with my colleague. Let me behave as something in what. Don't let me use what I'm going through to pass it to others. That is what we are talking about in emotional intelligence. Control your emotion. Then briefly, we'll talk about the importance of emotional intelligence at workplace, because it's very, very important. That, the family issue that you're having, don't take it to office. The family issue should only stop at the word, at the gate. And maybe when you are going home, you can carry it. But don't take it to the word, to the office premises. So why do you need to have emotional intelligence at our various workplace? It allows for better teamwork. That you were able to free yourself, you're able to interact with your team member. We're able to work together. But if you now say that, because you are facing a certain issue and someone is asking you a question, you started angry, any small thing, you started shouting, you can see that will give that will be problem. You can deal with what? You can deal with change. You can deal with what? Change. Because your emotion today, you are facing with this particular problem. It does not matter that you're going to, it does not mean that you're also going to face that particular situation tomorrow. You can handle those tough conversations. You just need to be calm. Even though someone is saying something that is not really sounding good to you, you just need to be what? You just need to be calm. You need to manage that tough conversation. And that's why sometimes, maybe in our religion as well, they'll say that if you know you are angry, when you are angry, you just need to be what? It's like, for example, now you know you are angry, and you know that, if you started having some conversation with this particular, the person may not like it. So in that situation, it is better for you to remain silent. There are some times that if you know that what you are going to the word that is going to come out from your mouth is going to hurt other people, it is better for you to just keep quiet. In management, we advocate for that. In our religion as well, maybe in Bible or in Quran, you are going to see there. If I know that what is going to come out of my mouth is going to hurt you, or I'm very angry, don't take action at that particular moment. Just be calm. And it is essential people's skills. Everybody needs to have this. You need to learn how to be calm. You need to learn how not to be passing your words, your own aggression, your own personal aggression to other people. And that's one of the features of the word of a good leader. A good leader must have high emotional intelligence. Whatever the situation that you're passing through, don't worry. It shouldn't affect your interaction with other people. It shouldn't affect your interaction with your colleague, with your other personal family member. I'm the one that is facing the situation, not you. So whatever the situation I'm facing, whether it's positive or negative, I shouldn't pass it with you. Okay? So as a good leader, one of the features of a good leader is having a good emotional intelligence. And when we say emotional intelligence, it's the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotion in a positive way. You have to manage your emotion in a positive way. Don't pass it to what, even though as of now, you really analyze your current situation, which is not really positive. But you interact with you manage it. What is inside of you, even though it is negative, but what is coming out of you must be positive. Okay, so let's now talk about the key things of word of today, which is change management. Change management. I know some of us can say, my 2023 resolution is this. It's fine for you to have such resolution. Organization also have resolution as well. That starting from January 1, we are not doing it this way again. It ends in 31st of December. So as you are having your own resolution as well, is about change. It means that there's something that you're doing before, but you don't want to continue with it. You need to always analyze whatever you are doing currently. Is that the best way? You need to what? Analyze whatever the things that you're doing, that is that the best way? So there always be change. If you are working now, have it at the back of your mind that there will be change. The way you are doing it today, you can get to office tomorrow and say that, well, that is not the way. You shouldn't do it that way again. So always have that mindset. Or more benefits. Is to bring about what? Is to bring about more benefits. And that's why very soon we are going to be talking about organization what? Effectiveness. We are going to be talking about organization what? Effectiveness. And for organizations to be what? To be effective, you have to be very, very flexible. You have to be very, very what? Flexible. In terms of what? If you discover that the way you are doing this thing is not what? Is not good, try as much as possible to what? To be, always try as much as possible to look for a better way of what? Of doing things. Change in the organization be a change in what? In work practice. The way you are doing it before, they may say, well, no, we are not doing it that way again. It may be as a result of what? Mergers and acquisition with another company. Look at what, let's say, for example, now Access and what? Diamond Bank, you can see now they merged together. So when what? Diamond Bank was alone, when Access was also alone, each of these organizations have their own process. But due to what? To mergers and acquisition, and it's going to bring about it is on Diamond. But when you now merge with what? With another company now, the process is going to change. So change management can come in form of what? Can come in forms of merger with another company. Can come in terms of what? Introduction of new accounting software. Maybe you are using what? Peachtree before. You are not thinking of what? Using Odoo now. Or you are thinking of using what? Microsoft Dynamics. Or even though you are using Microsoft Dynamics before, but you are using Microsoft Dynamics Business Center. But now you are thinking of using what? Microsoft Dynamics what? Operation. So there's going to be a change. Look at that now. The way you post transaction in your Microsoft Dynamics is going to be different from the way you are going to post transaction if you are using what? QuickBook. A new machine or a movement to to a new building. Oh, we are in what? Our head office is in Bayelsa before. Now we are moving to what? We are moving to what? To Delta. Our head office is in what? Is in Bayelsa. We are now moving to what? To Delta. That's also example of what? Of change. We are using this particular software before, so we don't want to use this one again. We want to be using this. Oh, we want to merge with what? With ABC Limited. Oh, the way you are doing it before, don't do it the same way again. Don't do it that way again. Do it differently. So change can come in words in any form. We just need to be prepared for it. As an employee, you need to be prepared for it. As organization as well, organization also need to embrace change. Your environment is not static. So if the environment is not static, things can happen today. Look at what is happening now currently now. That changing of word, changing of currency is about what? Change. If they introduce the new one in some years, they will also introduce another one. So organization need to be prepared for it. Individual, you also need to prepare for it as well. So in this section, we are going to walk through the sources of change. What bring about change? We'll also be looking about what, why do the employee resist change that we don't want? Why do people resist change? Look at your organization. There was a memo now that you're not going to be doing it that way again. Are you happy with that? And when they do words, a feedback in what, in anemones, you say what, no. Why do you say no, that this thing is not going to work? You don't like this thing. Why? So why did the employee resist change? We're also going to be looking about that. Now, let's talk about what forces of organization. Meaning that what can bring about what can bring about change? Before we start looking about, well, why do the employee resist change? Why? So when we say forces of change are what? What influence change? What bring about change? You are doing it this way in what? In 2020. And you say that, oh, starting from 2023, I don't want to do it that way again. What happened? There's a reason for you why you're saying that, oh, starting from January now, I'm not going to be doing it that way. The way I'm doing it was in 2022, I will not carry it over to 2023. Why? There's something happened. And I hope everybody will agree with that. So when it now comes to what? To organization as well, what bring about that? What are the forces of change? What influence change? I'm doing it this way, but I'm not going to be doing it that way again. So why? One of the factors may be as a result of what? Maybe the market is being constantly embodied with a new technology, new way of doing things. Your market is also changing. New technology is coming in, new version. Look at your phone. Maybe it has updated from one particular version to another one just within this year. And we are just in early February now. Maybe before we end the first quarter now, you could have counted the numbers of version, the number of update that your phone or your laptop would have received. So there's a new technology. Market is also reacting to it. It may be as a result of management policy. New management policy, roles and works, organization structure, and changing in social trend, values and attitudes of the society in which the business operates could influence the change in organization. Meaning that what bring about change may be as a result of what happened in my environment, the attitudes of people, their value, the social trend. Oh, this thing occur in is this way before now. People in that society, they see that, oh no, they don't want to be doing it that way again. The market activities of the competitors. So what our competitors is doing can also bring about oh, let our competitor is what is doing this way. Let also do it in another way. You can also merge with another company. New work method and procedure could demand change in what? Introduction of new CEO. Oh, our CEO was Mr. James before, so now it is now Mr. Namdi. The way Mr. James is doing, some of the policy of Mr. James, Mr. Namdi also have his own policy that is going to introduce. So if we are part of the team when it was Mr. James, and the new CEO now was Mr. Namdi, there's going to be a process. The process will change. So changes in top management as well also bring about change. Please don't forget, when we say trigger for change, when we say forces for change, they are the same, meaning that what bring about change. And please don't forget, in a summarized way, Change occur as a result of what? If there's a changes in your market condition. New management policy also bring about change. The changes in social trend, the attitudes of the society. The marketing activities of your competitors can also bring about change. Oh, you are bank A, me I'm what? Bank B. The activities of what, the way bank B is doing, if bank B is doing very well, that can also make me to, oh, maybe I need to copy some of the thing. I need to benchmark with what bank B is doing so that I'll also be what? I'll also be good. When you merge with the world with different company as well, new method and procedure could demand change. New CEO. So these are what, please don't forget this, my people. And please, this is a very important word. This is a very important aspect of management. A majority of the point that we're talking about, they are very, very easy for you to watch, for you to be able to understand it. When we say forces of change, it means that what bring about change. Please don't forget. It means what bring about change. Just ask yourself now as individual. There are some things that the way you are doing it is not really the best. You need to change. The same thing appear to the organization as well. There are some things that you're doing that's not the best way. But what we are talking about now is about what? Is about what now causes it. For you to change that, oh, starting from 2023, I will not do it this way again. What is the reason? That is what we call forces. We can also call it what? Trigger for change. So after that, we also now need to talk about what? Reason. Reason why people what? Reason why people resist change. Reason why people resist it. Oh, this thing, we will not accept it. Why? Why? There's a reason for that. Why do you resist? And there are various reasons here, and please try as much as possible to learn as much as you can. But you see, in management, there are some things that you can give answer to without really having to read. What you just need to try as much as possible to do is understand the meaning, understand the terms. It does not necessarily that in the exam you have to write what is here, but your understanding is really what matters. Meaning that, well, why did employee resist change? Some of us could have worked before. Why? Why would people say that, oh, there's a new changes now, and you are saying no? Let's even look at our family now. Let's say the dad or the mom say that, oh, everybody in this house, I don't want you to be doing it this way. And you say, and you are complaining to maybe mommy or daddy that, oh, this thing is not convenient for you. You should. Why do you resist it? If you're able to ask yourself this question, you can give answer to it without necessarily has to be what is here. Why do people resist? Some of us has come across it, which I'm very sure everybody here could have come across a change situation one after that, and you feel like, oh, this thing is not really convenient for you. If it was to be honest, assuming that you have option, you could have get rid of it. So why do you feel if someone, oh, be honest, this particular thing that we are doing now, do you really like it? Do you really accept it? So there are various reasons here why people would resist change. One, fear of unknown. Most people are often apprehensive and anxiety about the future change, especially in the change contemplated are unclear. People, when we say fear unknown, fear of the unknown, meaning that I don't know what will happen. What about if we accept and tomorrow they say everybody should go? Fear of unknown. You are not really sure of what can happen in the world, what can happen in the future. Oh, let's say for example now, they are trying to introduce They're trying to introduce robots to your organization factory. And you're part of the world, you're working in factory. will you be happy to accept such change? That, oh, we want to reduce the numbers of employees, so we are introducing robots. Do you think it's something that you are going to willingly to accept? So if even though there's no the management is telling you that there's no there's not going to be any there's not going to be any turnover, there's not going to be any downsizing, we are not sacking anybody. Near the management saying that, will you believe? Will you be in support of introducing robots in the factory while you are working in the factory, even though the management do not say anything about sacking anybody? So there's already a fear of unknown that, oh, this management that is introducing robot now, we don't know what their action will be. So as a result of that, you may say that, oh no. You may say what now? You may say no. As a result of what now? As a result of that, fear of what? Fear of unknown. That we don't really know what will happen. We don't really know what will happen. So as of now, you are not going to accept it. Lack of information. That's another very important thing. Why people will resist change. Lack of what? Lack of information. Lack of what? Lack of information. That the information is not what? The information is not clear. The information is not what? Is not clear. So if the information is not clear, you are not going to accept it. Some employee might oppose change if they are not what? If they are not properly briefed on the implication of the change to be introduced. If you don't have the information, you will not do what? You will not accept it. It is only what? Even information that you have understanding of it, we are still going to be afraid. Another one is what? Fear of unemployment. Just like the robot that I'm using as was an example now. Introducing robots in factory. You can see now it has already created what? Fear of unemployment. That, oh, some of this machine now will take care of, or would take away the work, to take away the employee work. So fear of what? Fear of unemployment. Now, if they introduce this change, if you allow this organization to bring in robots now, there will be what? There will be fear of what? There will be unemployment. They are going to sack us. They will ask us to go home. And another one, which is also going to be the reason, is what? Lack of participation in change. If you don't participate in the change, and that's when we are trying to resolve this. Another thing management can introduce is what? Employee participation. When they're introducing the change, employees should also be get involved, so that nobody will say that, oh, I'm not aware, or it's just going to be a news that this particular thing is going to occur. So assuming that they also participate in the change, that will be that will reduce. So some employees often accept change more readily if they are allowed by management to participate actively in drawing up and implement the change. Meaning that you are going to support you are going to support the change. If the management also carry you along when they are implementing the change. If you are carried along, now this is what we want to do. You also contribute your own during the meeting. So assuming that you are part of the meeting from the day one to the end, and at the end of the day, there's a final implementation communicated to every employee, will you say that you're not going to accept such thing? If you are also carried along and you also contribute your own to the discussion as well. So if the employee did not participate during the change process, that can also make them not to that can also make them not to accept the change. Where management refused to involve employee in the process of change, they naturally oppose the change. Another one is what trend. Let's just take like 6 of these. There are many reasons why what employee resist change. The trend towards a social aid and interpersonal relationship. Employee may oppose some change if it will negatively affect their social world relationship at workplace. Or if you want to work, if you want to implement change now, and you're thinking of what, oh, every employee, once you are coming in the work in the morning, you have to drop your phone. And when you are going home, you take your what? You take your phone. So, but now, maybe there are some people that you need to chat with during the day. There are some family members that you could like to what, you could like to call. As a result of that change now, it's affecting your world, your interpersonal relationship. It's affecting your world, your social relationship with people. That, oh, I could have called this person by 3 o'clock, but no, that one is not what is not available now. Your phone is not available. There's already a what instruction that once you are coming in the morning, you have to drop your phone, and if you're going home, you take your phone back. So you can see now how that will a little bit affect your social relationship with what others, especially even those outside the world, outside the organization. And let me also take this inability or reluctance to change habits. There are some people that, oh, what they are doing, they are used to it. They are used to it. So if you inform them of any new one, even though if that particular one is going to be convenient, they will still disagree. That, oh, we are used to this one. Even though the one that you are introducing, it will save their time so that they can use their own time to do other things. They will disagree. Just as a result of what the process that they are doing is already embedded in them. Employees often develop and become accustomed to setting an established pattern of behavior or way of doing things. Change threaten those and give rise to resistance. You're already used to it. This is how I used to do it. Even though I'm saying, okay, let me show you. There's another shortcut that you can use. There's another way that you can use. They will disagree. Another reason why they'll resist change, trend of word challenges. Some employee might oppose a certain change if they find it difficult to cope with the demand of the new change introduced. Because every change will introduce a new thing. Every change will introduce a word. Every change will introduce a new thing. The way we are doing before, if we introduce a word, a new thing now, the process will change. So there are some challenges that will come with that word. There are some challenges that will come with that new one. Maybe within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, the stress will be much. So there are some employees that they will not able to cope with it, even though it's going to be 1 week, just Monday to Friday. They may not able to work, they may not able to cope with that. So as a result of that, they will oppose the change. And another reason why they would not accept change is experience of past change. Oh, there's a one change in 2000 and what in 2008. This is what it brings. So when they are introducing a new one now, people will resist because the past one that occur is not favorable at all. So if the management is trying to introduce a new one now, people will not accept. So experience of past change. Employee might resist change if they had a negative please give me some few seconds, please. Just give me some few seconds, please. Hello. Hello. Oh, sorry, let's continue. So experience of what? The experience of past change. Experience of what? Of past change, that or the changes that I have introduced before is not what is not favorable. So when they are bringing in a word, a new one now, people are not going to accept it. Trying to what? To expertise, trying to establish what? To establish resources allocation and power relationship. So these are what? These are various what? These are various reasons why employee will resist change. Fear of unknown, lack of information, fear of unemployment, lack of participation in the what? In the change. Trying to social and what? In interpersonal relationship, inability or reluctance to what? To change habits. Trend of challenges, experience of past change and the rest. So the key things that we want to talk about is this, as you can remember. Say our key thing is what bring about change. There are three things that we are just talking about in this particular chapter. And please don't forget it though. What bring about change? Why do people resist change? And how can we manage change? The change management part, please don't forget this particular topic. There are just three things that we are talking about here. What bring about change? Why do people resist change? And how can we manage it so that people will accept change? It's just that three that we are talking about here. These are the forces, these are the reason why people work, but these are the reason why people these are the reasons that bring about change. These are, when we say the forces, it's the same thing as the word, the trigger for change. What bring about change? The next thing that we just finished talking about now is why do people resist it? And the last thing that we're talking about here is that how can we manage it so that people will embrace the change? Another very important thing is education and communication. Educate them, provide training to them, communicate to them that this thing is what is benefit. The manual system that you are used to, is creating error. But the automated one now, it will be stress-free. If you want to post a journal now, if the debit and the credit are not equal, you are not going to post it. So it will give you that, there's a difference. The total debit is 5,000 naira. This one is 4,999. It remains 1 naira for you to balance. But assuming it's a manual system now, I know you can just go away with it. So when you educate them and you communicate to them the benefit of the new change that is coming. Education and communication help employee understand the logic and the need for the change. It provides employee with the needed information about about the change. Educate, communicate to them, educate them, provide training. And another very important thing is involvement of employee in the planning and execution. Please don't forget, how do you manage change? How will you, as a manager now, how will you make people to accept the change that you're about to introduce? Educate and communicate to them. When you are also planning the change, during the execution, during the planning, carry the employee along as well. Involvement of employee in the planning and the execution of change. The change must be carried out only after a pre-change planning, which should decide on the kind of change to be introduced, the financial and human participation of the change, the timing, and the pace. So what we are talking about here is that the change should be the change should be carried out in a detailed process. A detailed process that will tell us that this is the area that we are introducing the change to. It will a pre-change planning that will tell us that these are the various steps that we are taking. This is where the change will be affected. Just like, for example, now government is constructing a certain road. There has to be a communication. There has to be a word. There has to be a communication to the citizen that, oh, we are going to block this particular road from this also time to this also time. Oh, the new road is only affecting this particular section. So as a manager now, when you are introducing that change, you should be able to communicate to the employee that this is the area where the change will be affected. This is the kind of change that we are introducing. This is the financial impact of the change. The implication of the change, the impact of the change, the time, and the pace of the change. Oh, we can have you can have different aspects of your organization that require change, but you need to take it gradually. You have to try as much as possible that the pace should not be too fast. It should be It should be gradually. Oh, let's introduce change to this particular department for this month. In the next month, let's introduce a change to this particular department. So it is not just that, oh, at a go. As a manager, you have to, and the pace of the change is very, very important too. It is very, very it is very, very important that the pace should not be too fast, so that employee will able to cope. So that employee will able to cope. Don't make the change to be too aggressive. And please don't forget, just like what we have talked about before as well, you have to motivate them. We have talked about motivation. As a manager, you have to motivate you have to motivate your employee so that they were able to do so that they were able to accept they were able to accept the change. Management must motivate the employee to accept change by introducing incentive and create an environment which will induce employee to accept the change. Maybe you give them maybe increase in salary or whatever the incentive that you can introduce, so that will also that will encourage them to do that will encourage them to accept to accept the change. Adapt the pace of change to employee. When change introduced are faster than employee could cope, resistance will build up. Just like what we talk about here too. The pace is very, very important. The pace is very, very it's very, very important that every manager, you have to please try as much as possible to take this into consideration. It shouldn't be too fast. Let the pace of the change be such that it will enable employee to adopt to them. If the change is gradual, people will have enough time to adopt and change and adjust. If it is gradual, it is this particular department this month, it is this particular department next month, it is this particular department this month, it is this particular process this month, it will give room for people to really adjust. And try as much as possible as a manager as well to understand the time that you are going to introduce the change. Change must be introduced at a time when employee will be more amenable to change and will be prepared to make a braver change to accommodate the new idea being introduced. You have to try as much as possible to do some behavioral scanning to really study some of your employee that, at what time or when can you introduce it? Maybe you do some survey Just like what some students would like to read in the night, some can read at any time. So as a manager as well, you should be able to have that skills of just trying to understand people. When you send them a mail, what time do they really like to respond to it? Or maybe there are some people that from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock, they're usually very, very active. From 2 downward now, they're already tired. So as a manager as well, you also need to try as much as possible to understand it. When will this particular change be good for your employee? There's a lot of in terms of you also take the economic situation into consideration. Look at it now. There's a fuel scarcity. The changing in the currency as well is also bringing about a lot of issues. So is it now that a manager now, you will now be trying to introduce a certain change to the organization? Is that the right time? Because you can see now a lot of people are very, very worried. A lot of people are very aggressive nowadays. So as a manager as well, you have to try as much as possible to understand the time. If you are introducing a change nowadays, it's not, even though I'm not part of your organization, I don't think it will be it's very it will be convenient for your for employee. There's election coming on, there's a changing in currency, there's fuel scarcity. So is that the word? So you can see now that looking at your your external business environment is not really favorable now for you to introduce the change. So as a manager now, you have to try as much as possible to analyze that. When would it be when would it be good for me to introduce the change? Sometimes resistance to change could be reduced if management takes into consideration the scope of the change. Instead of introducing a new idea in every department, test the feasibility of the idea in one department before extending it to another department. In terms of let's test run this particular chain, this particular software. Let's use this for this particular division. Let's use it for this particular department. If it is not successful, then we can now we can extend it. But you have not test run anything and immediately. And I know some of us, you remember in your IT, we used to talk about in your information IT, at ATS2, you used to talk about this thing, change management. Like we have parallel we have parallel changeover, we have direct changeover. Like parallel changeover in terms of I'll still be using the old system with the new one. So if I'm not satisfied with the new system, then I will eliminate the old one. So you can see now parallel changeover may be very, very good, but you just use direct changeover. The old system is completely shut down and you introduce the new one. What about if there's a problem? So as a manager as well, when you are introducing the change, test run it using maybe one particular department. And if it is successful in that particular department, then you cannot do you cannot extend it to another department. Training will also be very, very important, because you can't introduce a new process now and inform the employee that go and watch YouTube, go and learn how to work, go and learn how to do it. No. There has to be a training. And this is how you work, this is how you need to do it. So there has to be there has to be a training. Training of employee could also help provide them with skills required to adapt to the change being introduced. Negotiation manager can negotiate with those resisting. Those resisting change, exchange something of value in return for their cooperation. That if you do this thing, if you talk, especially their key stakeholders, just like the labor union. Negotiate negotiation manager can negotiate with those resisting that what do you need? You persuade them. You have been the what? You have been someone that from day one you have been saying no, 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 no. What do you want? What do you want to gain? What do you need? You can negotiate with them so that they were able to do what? So that they were able to accept the change. Manipulation and what? Cooptation favor of the estate and ignore those against. Cooptation involves giving some leaders in the group distinct change key role in the process, so they may group their resistance management and drop their resistance. In terms of what, you can do some manipulation. Look at some key stakeholder. Oh, in this particular team, who are the most important individual? So you can, this individual now, you can give them some role, some key individual, you can give them role. So once you're able to win the heart of these key stakeholders, it is not this key stakeholder now that will do the communication with the rest of the team. Is a way that manager can also work, that you can also use as well. So the key things that we are talking about so far in the past 30 minutes now is about what? Is about just 3 key things in management. It's just 3 key things. What bring about change? What are the forces of change? That is the number one. The second one is about what? Why do the employee resist change? Why do people say no? And the third one that we are just talking about now is about what? How can we manage it? If people are saying no, we are not going to forget about the change. We still want to implement it. But what are the strategy? What are the way that we can bring in these people that is saying no? We can bring them so that they were able to what? They were able to accept the change. That is what we are talking about in terms of what? How to manage change. Education and communication is very, very important. Involvement of employee in the planning and execution of the change is very, very important. Take the employee, carry them along. The change must be carried out only after a detailed pre-change planning, which could decide the kind of the change to be introduced, the financial resources required, the human resources required, the timing, the pace of the change. You have to document all these. You have to document all these. Oh, the time, the pace, the resources required, whether financial, whether human. Motivate the employee. Think about the pace as well. Think about the word as a manager. Think about the pace as well. It's very, very important. Change must be introduced at a time where employee will be more amenable to change. As a manager now, introducing what change in Nigeria currently now is not really a good time for scarcity. Changing in currency. Look at the world, look at a lot of things that we are facing currently. So as a manager as well, you have to try as much as possible to understand when is it going to be the best. Okay. So let me make a brief recap of what we have been talking about so far. Emotional words intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotion in a positive way. How you manage your own emotion in a positive way to others. The aggression, the situation that you're facing, the challenges that you're facing, you are not passing it to others. Features of emotional intelligence, self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, social skills. Important of you having a good emotional intelligence at your workplace. It allows for a better teamwork. Irrespective of what I'm facing with, I'm still going to relate with my colleague. so that we're able to work together as a team. So if there's a change as well, are we able to deal with the change? You can handle those tough conversations. If you have a high emotional intelligence, you're able to manage tough conversation, even though you are not the way the conversation is not really interested to you, the way they are presenting it is not really, you are not receiving it in a good way. You still be calm. And having a good emotional intelligence is one of the features that a good leader should have. It is kind of essential people skills that everybody needs to have. Then we move on to talk about change. We move on to talk about change. And in change, we just talk about 3 key things. What bring about change? Change can come as a result of changes in markets. It can come as a result of new management policy. It can come as a result of changes in social trend, the values and the attitudes of the society. In terms of the marketing activities of our competitors as well. Oh, our competitor is doing this. We may also learn from that. Merge with different company, new work method and procedure could demand changes in the organization. Changes in management, e.g., introduction of new CEO, new MD, new executive directors. And we also talk about reason why people resist change. Fear of unknown, a lack of information, fear of unemployment, lack of participation in the change, trying to social and your personal relationship, inability to change habits. You are used to it. So as a manager now, how can you manage it? Even people are not, if people are saying no, if people are saying no. Education and communication is very, very important. Involvement of employee in the planning and execution of the change. Change must be carried out only after a detailed prior change planning, so that you're able to identify the kind of change to introduce, the financial, the human resources involved, the timing, and the pace of the change. And you can also one of the ways you can also make people to accept your change is introduce some incentive. You can also introduce some incentive. Management must motivate employee to accept change by introducing incentive and creating an environment which will induce employee to accept the change. Please, as a manager as well, don't forget about the pace of the change. It shouldn't be too fast, so that it will give room for people to really adapt. Change must be introduced at a time when employee will be more amenable to change. Sometimes resisting to change may be could be deduced if management take consideration the scope of the change. Instead of introducing a new idea in every department, test the feasibility of the idea in one department before you before you extend it. This is just like using a parallel changeover. Negotiation is also very, very important, that as a manager you need to have. So this is all about emotional intelligence and change management. It's a very, very important area, please, and they are very, very straightforward to learn. Don't forget about the 3 things we talk about in change. What bring about change? Why do people resist? And as a manager, how you can make people to accept the change. Okay?